Happy Monday. Today is Monday, July 13th, 2020, and we're back for another week of daily Bible readings with the Wesley Center. Today's daily Bible readings came to us from Psalm 142, Micah 1, 1 through 5, 1 Thessalonians 4, 1 through 8, or you could have read Psalm 92 and Leviticus 26, 3 through 20. Today I'm going to look at Micah, the section for Micah, which once again is chapter 1, 1 through 5. And it's interesting, there's the text in here that talks about, a line in here that talks about the high places. It says that God will come down and tread upon the high places of the earth. And of course that talks about mountaintops and things like that. But the thing you need to realize is that in the Old Testament, high places are synonymous with the worship of false gods. For instance, King Ahaz, who is the king that's in the first verse of this chapter, right? The very first verse of the book of Micah is one of the kings that's mentioned here, one of the kings that's used to date the period of this letter, right? So King Ahaz shows up in, the text I'm going to share with you is from 2 Chronicles 28:4, and it says that he, Ahaz, sacrificed and made offerings on the high places, on the hills, and under every green tree. So the high places, like I said, synonymous with the worship of false gods. They were places, holy places, sacrificial places, cultic sites that would be built on hilltops, mountaintops. For instance, Hezekiah, we see in 2 Kings, he's one of the other kings that's referenced here in the first verse. In 2 Kings 18, as a way of describing the kind of king that Hezekiah was, it says here that he did what was right in the sight of the Lord, just as his ancestor David had done. He, that is Hezekiah, removed the high places, broke down the pillars, and cut down the sacred poles. And so these were all things that would be erected on these high places, these hilltops, and dedicated to the worship of false gods, pagan idols, however you want to say it. And so what's the deal? What's so important here with this idea that God is going to come down and walk upon the high places? John Wesley, in his notes, you can actually look up Wesley's notes on the Bible, actually gives his own little brief explanation of this, of what it means to trample. And he says, to trample underfoot all that is high, excellent, and a matter of your glorifying. In other words, John Wesley points out that this whole point of God coming down to trample the high places is that he is going to put underfoot everything that these people have used to lift themselves up above each other, above others, and specifically above God, and that God's not having it. All that they use to lift themselves up, to puff themselves up, all the things that they stroke their own egos with and put themselves above other people with, are going to be trampled under God's foot. Just kind of, I guess the image is like, the way you and I might walk over an anthill. It's, that these things are insignificant compared to God, and God is going to lay these things low. So what does that mean for us? Well, once again, if you go and you read the prophets, if you go and read Micah, you see that God is just not happy with the way that not only the people have abandoned him, but the outcomes of that, and the way that they treat each other, treat other people, treat the poor, treat the weak in their midst. Go back, look at the Old Testament, look at the Gospels. It's all in there. And he is going to, consequently, level the playing field. So, I think that's probably a good thing for us to think about and even remember in these times. The psalmist likes to talk about how God is going to lay all their enemies low, right? That's and we like to talk about that. We like the idea that God's always on our side. But the prophets are there to always remind us that God may also be on the side of the people that we lift ourselves up above and persecute. So, anyway, that's the daily Bible reading for today, such as it is, and we will be back tomorrow. Boop.